I plunged the neural injector into Victor Hale's neck while he slept off his third scotch of the evening, his smug face slack on the king-sized pillow in his Pacific Heights penthouse. The swap hit like a freight train, my consciousness ripping free from my own body, slamming into his, while his soul got booted into mine like yesterday's trash. By dawn, I was staring at Sophie Grant's reflection in the mirror. Mousy brown hair, tired eyes, the body he'd called redundant just yesterday in front of the entire board. And God, the auditors were en route, their laughter echoing in his mind like a bad joke I couldn't unhear. It started 6 months ago, in the glass tower bowels of Hale Tech, Silicon Valley's darling for AI ethics consulting. I was Sophie Grant, mid-level analyst, the one who crunched numbers so clean they could cut diamonds. Victor Hale, my boss, the golden boy CEO with a jawline sharper than his quarterly reports and a Rolodex full of senators, had handpicked me for the fraud audit team. "You're invisible, Sophie," he'd whispered in my ear during my interview, his breath hot with bourbon. "Perfect for digging where no one looks." I thought it was a compliment. Turns out, it was a curse. The betrayal sliced deeper than I could have imagined. Hale Tech was bleeding cash. Offshore accounts siphoned dry by Victor's side hustle, selling user data to foreign regimes under the guise of ethical AI. I found the ledgers buried in encrypted subfolders, timestamps matching his late-night meetings with lobbyists. But when I flagged it to HR anonymously, the hammer fell on me. Emails forged in my name. Timestamps doctored to show I'd authorized the transfers. Creative accounting, Victor called it in the boardroom, his voice dripping sympathy as he slid my termination papers across the table. "Sophie, you're redundant. We've got to streamline for the investors." Redundant. The word burned like acid. I'd given him everything, nights blurring into mornings, my social life gutted for his deadlines. And for what? To take the fall for his empire of lies. The feds were circling, an SEC audit was inbound, and Victor needed a patsy. Me. With my clean record and nobody to mourn me status. Divorced at 32, no kids, parents long gone in a car wreck, I'd always suspected wasn't an accident. That night, as I packed my desk, I overheard him on the phone. "Yeah, she's done. Plant the evidence. She'll sing like a canary or rot." I didn't rot. I evolved. In the underbelly of San Francisco's Mission District, where tech bros fear to tread, I found Dr. Elias Crow, a disgraced neuroscientist peddling black market neural swaps. "It's not magic," he rasped from his basement lab, surrounded by humming servers and vials of glowing serum. "It's quantum entanglement. Your mind hops his neural net for 72 hours. Reversible, if you want. But most don't." His eyes gleamed with the madness of a man who'd lost his license testing it on convicts. Controversial? Hell, it was felony territory, FDA nightmares, consent violations, the works. But Victor had stolen my life. I'd steal his skin. The injector was a sleek black pen, disguised as a Mont Blanc. I tailed him from the office gala, me in a thrift store gown that itched like regret, up to his penthouse. Security was laughable for a man worth 9 figures. A cloned keycard from a disgruntled doorman, and I was in. He was out cold, tie loosened, snoring like the king he thought he was. One prick, a surge of electricity that fried my nerves, and boom, lights out. Waking in Victor's body was ecstasy and horror. His frame was taller, broader, 6'2" of tailored muscle earned from personal trainers on the company dime. I flexed his fingers, felt the power in his grip, the subtle ache of his hangover pulsing in temples that weren't mine. Down the hall, my old body stirred. Victor's consciousness trapped inside, eyes fluttering open to a stranger's face in the mirror. Panic hit him like a wave. I heard the scream from the guest room, muffled by the gag I'd prepped. "What the fuck?" he croaked in my voice, high and frantic. I sauntered in, Victor's baritone rumbling low. "Morning, Sophie." Or should I say, redundant. My eyes widened in terror. "Grant. You bitch. What did you?" I clamped a hand over his mouth, the strength of his arm pinning him effortlessly. "Shoo. Auditors land at 10 a.m. You're going to play along, or I'll make sure this swap's permanent." Crow's got a kill switch. Lies, mostly. Crow had warned the process degraded after 48 hours, minds fraying like old rope. But Victor didn't know that. He thrashed, but in my slight frame, he was outmatched. I zip-tied him to the bed frame. His own silk restraints a poetic touch. "You framed me for your sins. Now, you'll confess them in my skin. The drive to Hail Tech in Victor's Tesla was surreal. Autopilot humming through fog-shrouded streets, his Spotify playlist blasting Springsteen anthems that suddenly felt like mockery. I parked in his reserved spot, badge scanning green, and strode into the lobby like I owned it. Because for now I did. Whispers followed. "Mr. Hale, rough night?" from the receptionist, her smile faltering at the shadows under my eyes. I grunted, Victor's gravelly charm on autopilot, and hit the elevator. The boardroom was a shark tank, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the bay, egos as inflated as the stock tickers on the walls. The team assembled. Karen from legal, twitchy and ambitious. Raj, the CFO, sweating through his corda, and the auditors, two stern suits from Deloitte flown in from D.C. Ms. Hargrove, all business in pearls, and Mr. Ellis, whose laugh I'd soon weaponize. I took Victor's seat at the head, the leather creaking under me like a confession. "Let's cut the bullshit," I said, Victor's voice booming with uncharacteristic edge. They blinked. Victor was silk, not steel. "The ledgers are cooked. Sophie Grant didn't touch them. I did." Gasps rippled. Karen's pen froze mid-note. I slid the forged docs across the table. My originals, annotated with Victor's digital signature, timestamps I'd hacked overnight from his cloud. Data sales to unsanctioned entities. Offshore wires. All me. Hargrove's eyes narrowed. "Mr. Hale, this is extraordinary. You'd be admitting to felony wire fraud." I leaned back, channeling his arrogance. "Extraordinary? Try suicidal. But the board deserves transparency. Fire me if you must. Hell, call the feds." Controversy crackled. Raj stammered about NDAs, Karen about shareholder panic. Ellis, though, chuckled, a dry, disbelieving huff. "With all due respect, sir, if this is a ploy." He trailed off, flipping to the signature page. Then it hit, the alias I'd buried in the metadata. Victor's slush fund was under Hale of a Scheme LLC, but I doctored it to Victor Hale, a.k.a. Dickhead Redundant. The room erupted. Ellis barked a laugh, choking on it. Hargrove bit her lip, shoulders shaking. Even Raj cracked a grin. "Mr. Hale, is this a joke?" Ellis wheezed, tears streaming. "Dickhead Redundant? Sir, we've audited Enron. This is gold." The auditors, stone-faced professionals, unraveled, their guffaws echoing off the glass like Judgment Day bells. Victor's empire, crumbling under laughter. I smirked inwardly, Sophie's vindication burning hot. But as the meeting devolved into chaos, a text buzzed on Victor's phone. "Crow, degradation accelerating. 24 hours max, get out." Panic flickered. This wasn't just revenge, it was a race. The laughter died like a bad hangover, leaving the boardroom thick with suspicion. Hargrove straightened her pearls, wiping her eyes. "Amusing as that is, Mr. Hale, if this confession holds, we're impounding everything. Feds by noon." I nodded, Victor's poker face masking the sweat beading on his brow. "Do what you must. Clean slate." As they packed files, I slipped out, heart hammering in this stolen chest. The swap's itch was starting. Phantom twinges where Sophie's scars should have been. Faint appendix line from college. A tattoo on her ribcage reading "Rise" in cursive. Victor's body rebelled, muscles twitching like it knew an imposter wore the suit. Down in the parking garage, I fired up the Tesla again, but not for home. Victor's phone was a goldmine. Texts from mistresses, voicemails from bent politicians. One caught my eye. Unknown, secret safe, but Grant sniffing. "Eliminate loose ends. V. Sent to a burner 6 months back." Loose ends. Me. The betrayal deepened. He'd planned to accidentally dox my location to some cartel contact, make it look like a mugging gone wrong. My car wreck parents? Flashed in my mind. Not accident, but Victor's first frame job, back when Dad worked as his accountant and found early discrepancies. The secret he'd buried, our families intertwined. Dad had covered for Victor once, small time, but when he balked at escalating, the brakes failed on Highway 1. Victor inherited the debt, and the daughter who'd grow up to avenge it. I gunned it toward the mission, weaving through lunch hour traffic, horns blaring like accusations. Crow's lab was a converted taqueria basement, reeking of solder and stale tortillas. He met me at the door, wild-eyed under fluorescent buzz. "Back already? Shit, Hale's vitals are spiking. Your old body's fighting the anchor." Inside, Victor and Sophie thrashed against restraints, my former face twisted in rage. You crazy cunt, he spat in my voice. I'll sue you into the ground. With what? I cut him off, Victor's timbre cold. Your assets are frozen. Board's calling an emergency vote as we speak. I turned to Crow. Reverse it. Now. He hesitated, syringe trembling. Can't. Degradation's at 40%. Minds bleed, memories swap, personalities fracture. One more hour, and you're both ghosts. Controversy clawed at me. End it here, let him fade in my skin, a poetic erasure? Or drag him to the light, force a public unraveling? I chose the latter, darker, riskier. Drive, I told Crow. To Hail Tech. He's confessing on live stream. The van rattled through the city, Victor's pleas turning to bargains. Sophie, please. I made you. Promotions, that bonus last Christmas. You broke me. I snarled. Framed me for your greed, orphaned me for your lies. Dad knew your secrets. You silenced him. Now the world knows. He went pale in my skin, realization dawning. The hidden truth. Not just betrayal, but blood. Victor wasn't a mentor. He was the devil who'd worn my father's trust like a mask. We burst into Hail Tech's atrium just as the board reconvened. Cameras rolling for the investor call, screens blazing with CNBC tickers. Security blinked at Victor Hale dragging Sophie Grant by the arm, but the badge cleared us. I shoved him into the conference feed, mic hot. Ladies, gentlemen. I boomed, meet the real fraud. Victor and me froze under the lights, eyes darting like a cornered rat. The board gaped, remote viewers spiked, thousands tuning in. Tell them, I hissed off mic, or I trigger the kill switch. He cracked. In my trembling voice, the words tumbled. I did it. The data sales, the wires, all me. Sophie Grant was clean. I forged it to cover my ass. Gasps echoed, stock plunging live on the split screen. Hargrove's team swarmed, cuffs glinting. But as they hauled him away, Victor's eyes locked on mine, his own face, pleading. Wait. How? This isn't. Then the glitch hit. A seizure rippled through his borrowed body, my memories flashing in his gaze. Dad's laugh at barbecues, my wedding that wasn't. The swap bled. I staggered back, Victor's hand clutching my throat. No, his own. Pain lanced, Crow's warning incarnate. In the chaos, Raj cornered me. Mr. Hale, what the hell? You look. Off. My vision doubled, Sophie's allergies kicking in, his body rejecting pollen from the atrium ferns. Controversial decision loomed. Confess the swap now, unravel everything in his sci-fi farce, or ride it out. Let the confession stick while I faded. I chose silence, shoving past to the elevator. But as doors closed, a final text from Crow. It's not reversible. You were the test subject, Victor's guinea pig all along. The twist clawed in, betrayal inverted. Victor hadn't just framed me. He'd been prepping the swap for months, using me as the anchor for his escape plan. My anonymous HR tip? Bait he'd planted. The neural scans during wellness checks, data for the entanglement. I wasn't the avenger. I was the mark, lured into his web to body hop and vanish, leaving Sophie Grant the fall girl in a vegetative shell. Rage surged, pure and black. I had 12 hours. Time to burn it all. The elevator plummeted like my sanity, Victor's polished Oxfords squeaking on marble as I burst into the executive washroom, splashing water on his face. My face now, I stared into eyes that weren't mine, veins throbbing with alien blood. The mirror lied. Handsome features, salt and pepper at the temples, a smirk that had charmed VCs into billions. But inside, Sophie's fury roiled, memories fracturing. Flashes. Victor's childhood in Jersey trailer parks, clawing up from nothing. My prom night, awkward and alone. The bleed accelerated, personalities at war. Fight it. I muttered, but his arrogance whispered back. You're nothing without me, redundant girl. Outside, sirens wailed, feds descending on the lobby. Victor and me already spilling more in custody. Good. Let him drown in details. But Crow's text nod. Test subject. Digging Victor's phone, I scrolled encrypted folders, Project Echo. Blueprints for the swap tech, funded off books through Hail Tech's R&D slush. My name peppered the docs. Subject S. Grant. Stable neural profile, low social ties, ideal host. Bastard had groomed me from day one, wellness exams masking calibrations. The secret buried deeper, Dad's accident wasn't silencing, it was acquisition. Victor inherited his research, early quantum notes from Dad's side gig, and needed me, the genetic match, to perfect the jump. Controversy burned. Was revenge justice, or just trading one monster for another? I'd violated every ethic: assault, identity theft, now corporate sabotage. But Victor's sins dwarfed mine. He'd peddled souls for profit, left orphans in his wake. No gray, pitch black. I needed proof, irrefutable, viral. Hacking his desktop from the C-suite, password, redundant bitch 1, the irony a gut punch. I pulled server dumps, emails to cartels, wire transfers timestamped to Dad's crash date. A video file, grainy dashcam of the wreck, Victor's Mercedes tailing too close, brakes tampered post-impact. Upload it. Live. To every shareholder portal, SEC tip line, and TMZ. Fingers flew on his keyboard, Sophie's coding skills overriding his clumsiness. This ends you, I growled. As the files propagated, notifications exploded, stocks cratering, headlines birthing. Hailtech CEO confesses on stream. Crash cover-up? The board's emergency line rang. I let it bleed to voicemail, their panic fuel for the fire. But the body betrayed. Victor's heart, strong, but laced with coke residue from gala binges, skipped beats, vision blurring at edges. I needed an anchor, someone to ground the swap. Enter Lena, Victor's executive assistant, code for mistress, a sharp-tongued Latina from the valley who'd clawed her way up on his promises. She'd eyed me, Sophie, with pity during my firing, slipping me a coffee laced with sympathy. Now, in his skin, I'd use that. Her office was a nook off the bullpen, door ajar. Victor, she queried, rising from her desk, curves hugged by pencil skirt. Suspicion flickered. I moved wrong, too hesitant in his swagger. Lena, we need to talk. Off books. She arched a brow, locking the door. About the confession? You're unhinged today. I closed the gap, his cologne, sandalwood and sin, wafting. Unhinged. Try liberated. We set Sophie up. But it was bigger. Echo. Her eyes widened. She knew. The project? You said it was vaporware. I grabbed her wrist. Gentle, but firm. Victor's touch she'd craved. It worked. I'm not me. Confession spilled. The swap, the frame, Dad's murder. She pulled back, but not in horror, in calculation. Prove it. I recited her secrets. The abortion he'd paid for last spring, the trust fund for her niece in Oakland. Her face crumpled, then hardened. That puta. He promised marriage. Alliance forged in shared venom. Controversial? Seducing an ally and enemy flesh blurred lines. Power dynamics twisted, consent a casualty. But Lena was steel. She nodded. I have access to his safe. Offshore keys. We slipped into the sublevels, her heels clicking like countdowns. The vault hummed open, passcode her birthday, another slap. Inside, ledgers, hard drives, a vial of serum labeled Echo Stabilizer. Crow's antidote, I breathed. But as I palmed it, alarms blared, feds breaching. Lena's hand on my arm. Go. I'll stall. Her kiss, brief, fierce, lingered on Victor's lips, a goodbye, or ploy. No time. I bolted for the service exit, serum burning in pocket. The chase ignited, through loading docks, into alleyways slick with drizzle. Feds shouted, boots pounding. Victor's body, fit but untested, burned lactic acid. Sophie's endurance whispered tips. Duck into Ticarius, blend with crowds. Heart pounding, I hit Crow's block, then idling. Inject it. I yelled, slamming the door. Needle bit neck, serum flooding. Stability crept back, memories settling, but warped. Victor's flooded in, not just greed, but fear. His own father, a crooked union boss, suicided in jail. I won't rot, he'd thought, plotting the swap. Me as vessel, Sophie the shell. But the twist reversed. In the flood, truth inverted. Dad hadn't been killed. He'd faked the crash, fled with embezzled funds, Victor's early cuts, and left me the patsy. Victor covered it, not out of malice, but loyalty to a dead man's wish. Protect her, Dad's note read. She's the future. Betrayal? Mine, for avenging a ghost who'd abandoned me. Reversal hit like brakes on wet pavement. Was Victor villain or victim? The serum stabilized, but the mind fractured further. Crow's vein tore through the tenderloin, neon signs blurring into streaks of regret. The serum coursed like firewater, knitting neural threads, but the bleed left scars. Victor's phobia is now mine. Claustrophobia clawing as we hit traffic, his coke jitters twitching fingers on the dash. It'll hold, Crow muttered, chain-smoking camels. But personalities merge. You'll be hybrid. Hybrid. The word mocked. Already, his charm slipped into my speech, softening edges. Turn around, I said, voice of velvet rasp. To the federal holding, Victor's there. In this clean. Clean? Nothing was. The reversal nod. Dad's fake death. Victor's cover. Protecting me from the fallout of his theft. But why frame me now? Digging Victor's phone mid-ride. A buried email chain. Dad alive, in Belize, demanding cuts from Echo sales. Your sister's kid's the key, he'd written to Victor. Wait, sister? Flash. Not boss, but uncle. Victor Hale, my blood, shielding family fortune by sacrificing the scapegoat niece. Betrayal layered. Not malice, but machismo. American dream twisted into nepotistic nightmare. Controversy peaked. Expose the family tie, humanize the monster, or let the confession ride. Damning him for crimes half his? I chose the blade, cut deep, no mercy. Drop me at the courthouse, I told Crow. Then vanish. He eyed me warily. You're playing God, Hale, or whatever you are. God. Nah, just a ghost in the machine. The federal building loomed, marble facade hiding the meat grinder inside. Flashing Victor's ID got me past checkpoints. Suspect in custody, urgent testimony. Interrogation room, sterile white, one-way glass. There sat Victor in me, cuffed to table, face bruised from scuffle. Feds flanked. Grizzled Agent Torres, coffee breath, and newbie Klein, all earnest eyes. Mr. Hale, Torres drawled, your employee's flipping script. Says you're a body snatcher. Delusional. I slid into the empty chair, Victor's poise masking the storm. Delusional? Ask him. Victor's head snapped up, my features contorted in fury. It's her. Sophie did this. Neural bullshit. Laughter bubbled from Klein. Nerves or disbelief. Torres leaned in. Body swap? Son, we've got your confession on tape. Wire fraud. Vehicular homicide cover-up. Sign the plea. The room tilted, serum warring with truth. I pulled the vial remnant, sliding it across. Test it. Echo Project. Hale Tech is Black Op. Torres snorted. Sci-fi hour? But protocol kicked. They swabbed, sent to lab. Waiting game. Victor ranted, spilling more. Dad's flight, the family web. She was leverage. To keep him quiet. Me, the pawn in Uncle's games. Reversal deepened. Victor hadn't orphaned. He'd raised me indirectly, funneled scholarships through anonymous donors. My analyst gig? Nepotism veiled as merit. Alarms wailed anew. Stock crash riots outside. Protesters chanting Hale must fall. Controversy decision. Mercy kill or escalation. I uncuffed him subtly, whispering. Uncle Vic, it's over. Dad's waiting in hell, or Belize. His eyes, my eyes, softened, bleed sinking us. Sophie. I tried. For him. Then the fracture. Bodies convulsed. Swap reversing in agony. Consciousness yanked, slamming back into my skin as Victor's flooded his. Chaos. Guards burst in, tasers drawn. Sophie again. Gasped on the floor, Victor rising tall, himself once more. But the serum's gift merged minds. He knew my rage, I his regrets. Agents, he croaked, voice raw. It's true. All of it. Torres gaped as Victor signed the plea. Full, unredacted. No family shield, total surrender. Outside, Lena waited in her Prius, engine humming. You look like hell, she said, tossing me a hoodie. Did it work? Half. Victor cuffed, en route to Supermax. Hale Tech dissolving in lawsuits. But the twist lingered. Dad's alive, per a ping on Victor's tracker, Belize courts. Hunt him? Or let ghosts lie? Night fell heavy, fog rolling in like absolution. I chose the road. Controversial, untethered. Drive south, I told Lena. I've got an uncle to thank. Climax brewed. Revenge's peak wasn't cuffs, but confrontation. Victor's final words echoed. Finish what he started. Echo. The tech. Now mine via Crow's handover key. Power to swap, to steal lives. Dark temptation. The Prius 8 miles down Highway 1. Big Sur cliffs plunging to Pacific foam under a moon like a guilty witness. Lena drove, silent at first, Radio murmuring NPR scandals. Hailtech implosion front page. Victor's plea a tabloid feast. Body swap insanity, the anchor chuckled. Or is it the new American dream? Trading souls for success? Laughter again, that cursed echo. I stared out, Sophie's hands, mine, clutching the vile shard like a talisman. Merged echoes whispered. Victor's boardroom bravado blending with my quiet grit. Hybrid, Crow called it. Monster, maybe. Belize loomed in pings. Dad's hideout. A K-shack wired with offshore cash. The betrayal's core, not Victor's frame, but Dad's abandonment. He'd staged the crash, vanished with Hailtech seed money. Victor's trust fund, built on union graft. Left me to scrape, scholarships Victor's guilty crumbs. The crime I bore? His, laundered through family. Secret chiseled deep. I wasn't victim, I was heir to rot. Lena broke quiet. What's the play, Soph? Confront and hug it out, or... Her eyes flicked to the vial. Or end him. Controversial fork. Forgiveness, American redemption arc. Prodigal son, twisted daughter? Or cycle the revenge, swap into his sunset years. Make him redundant in his own skin? Wind whipped, salt air sharp. Both, I said. He owes the truth. We flew commercial. Me under Lena's cousin's passport. Her pulling strings from old Victor favors. Miami layover. Humid hell, tourists oblivious. In the terminal, a newsstand screamed hail laughs last. CEO's alias, dickhead redundant, goes viral. Meme stock of the year. Auditors' chuckles birthed a movement. Redundant revenge trending. Protesters in red ties storming Wall Street. My doing, unintended icon. Power's taste, bitter, addictive. Belize hit like a fever dream. Coconut palms, rum breezes masking decay. The K was a speck off ambergris. Shack stilted over turquoise. Generator humming lies. Dad. Henry Grant. Grayer. Ponchier. Fished from the dock. Rod slack. No gun. Just the injector, primed with last serum drops. Sophie, he rasped, squinting. Shock aged him decades. How, Victor? We talked on creaking porch, rum burning throats. Truth unspooled. The theft, the fear of jail like Victor's old man. I left you safe, he lied. With Hale to watch. Watch. Frame. The mistake I bore. His sin's shadow. Job at Hailtech his setup. Analyst to audit his brother's books. Expose or cover. Victor chose cover, then panicked when I dug too deep. You were the fail-safe, Dad admitted. Swap tech from my notes. Your mind in his. Clean escape. Reversal complete. I wasn't avenged. I was architect, unknowingly. Dad's plan, Victor's execution, my trigger. Betrayal circular, family's dark pact. Climax crested, injector glinted. Your turn, Dad. His eyes widened. Not fear, but pride. Do it. Finish the echo. Prick. Swap surged, his frail form mine, my vigor his. In his skin, world sharpened. Arthritic aches, but clarity. He, in me, smiled. Now you see. Power's the revenge. But I triggered the kill, not switch, but truth. From his Shack server, I uploaded all. Family confessions, echo files, crash fakes. To WikiLeaks, FBI drops. Global eyes on the grants, hailed dynasties fall. Victor, in Supermax, would laugh last. Headlines tying him to Dad's ghost. Ending blurred. Happy? Empire crumbled, justice viral. Tragic? I faded in Dad's body, swap permanent, Lena's hand in mine a tether. Debatable, redemption or damnation. As K faded, hybrid voice murmured, redundant no more. We sailed north, new skins, new sins. America waited, tense, laughing, unforgiving.